Last time was the day of the Silk Road. Today, today is going to be the day of Australia. Welcome back, everybody. So, okay, as you saw in the intro, today is Australia Day, but obviously we'll have a little bit more stuff than just that, because I realized yesterday, not yesterday, yesterday for me, not for you. Um, Last episode, so 3 days ago, no, 6 days ago, last week I should say. Um, that episode, it was kind of short. I'm not gonna lie, and that was because I was honestly expecting the Silk Road thing to take much longer. So today we're gonna be doing two things: Australia and some Silk Road stuff too. Anyway, let's begin now. So first things first, blue team, they're gonna set up another base on Australia, and quickly you can see that these guys do want to colonize all this. I'm counting this as a part of Australia right now, just cause yeah, cause I want to. And we can honestly sink this island. I do not want to deal with that. Okay, next thing we're gonna see is honestly probably this island declaring war, because this island is a lot of tribes, and finally they're going to unite, as they don't want to end up like the rest of the world, and the news of the tribes in the rest of the world is finally starting to reach them a little bit. And so not wanting to get absolutely comboed, all tribes unite to resist the Indonesian push. Jakarta, I guess. I don't know what this thing is called. I'm just gonna call it Indonesia, honestly. Um, they're going to they're going to declare war on these guys, and quickly they're going to start pushing them kind of a little bit. Now this was very unexpected, so it's going to go pretty well. It was unexpected by the Indonesians. However, quickly the Indonesians are going to quickly push back. The blue team is also going to declare war on these guys, and now begins their slaughtering. So quickly, yeah, how do I put this nicely? These guys were very stupid for doing this. Like, you did not go, and if you are a country with swords, you don't go and declare war on the United States of America. That's what this is. These guys are fighting out here with weapons from hundreds of thousands of years ago. Okay, probably not that much, but like still, versus people who have the most modern technology right now. So yeah, instantly the tribes are quickly captured. A lot of the tribes fall, and some honestly just surrender. Either way, Indonesia is looking like this now, and a blue team landing on the island, on the back of the island, destroying a lot of very sacred places, which is no, 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 bad boy, blue team, bad boy. But that capture is going to force these guys to surrender, and we have peace. Blue team doesn't even colonize that; they just leave it in ruins. That was my alarm, my fault. I don't know if you guys heard that. Anyways, so yeah, these guys, they're going to go up the island like that. Nope, that looks horrible. They're going to go up the island like that. Um, yeah, they're gonna capture more of the island. So I guess Indonesia probably benefited from that. I'm not going to lie, a little bit. Like, to an extent, they did benefit from that. I honestly feel like we can extend this a bit. Like, let's extend that for a second. Let's extend this over here, and yeah, there we go. Good, good, good. Um, from here, the blue team. Okay, first we gotta erase these borders. Now, Indonesia also doing this is very massive, and you know what else is massive. But moving on from that, it's going to be a very big deal, because now this little thing, and very quickly, Indonesia is going to abuse this, and they're going to make a landing right here, capturing this little thing. Remember, blue team is allies with these guys. So this entire continent, 100% of the land colonized on this continent is colonized by the blue team and its allies. Here's where things change. Japan quickly hears wave of this new island, and the blue team is trying to keep it like secret. However, the news slips, and Japan thinks it's a myth, so they send a boat there. The boat lad goes around and around and around and around and around and around, and eventually the boat keeps going and it lands over here, where they set up a small little base of operations, explore a bit, and eventually they take another boat and they land here and are detained, and eventually deport back to Japan. That's going to give the Japanese no hope. Japanese are going to send another boat, dies in a storm. Another boat gets lost, goes around the world. Okay, Paint 3D might crash. Goes around the world over here and ends up of very close to Americas, but also eventually gets destroyed. Uh, we can erase these islands. They are not needed in the slightest bit. Uh, okay, wait. Let's erase these islands. Not needed. Um, yeah. Uh, what else? I feel like Crimea would probably, once they hear about this, would be the main ones to colonize this land. Anyways, yeah. So after that, eventually, Japan one boat there's from their most famous expeditioner goes over here, the Philippines, and eventually makes a small little landing right on here. And they set up a small military base. They meet some people, the tribes people that Indonesia just defeated, and the tribes people tell them of a ruthless monstrosity of a tribe that has weapons never seen before. And then Japan proceeds to show them not so modern technology that is basically exactly what Indonesia has. They're like, "Oh, you're working with them. We're gonna kill you." And Japan's like, "No, no, no, chill." Um, but they eventually lead Japan, and they're like, "Fine, let's ally with each other." And that guy allies, and we're gonna name him. We're gonna name him Tony the Tiger. What? Christopher Columbus is the guy who discovered America, so we're gonna name this guy Columbia Chris Columbia. Chris Tokyo, because he's from either way. Chris the Great, Chris the Conqueror, something like that. Anyway, the Expeditioner. So that guy, he's going to get to the outskirts of here, and he's gonna be like, "Oh, it's the Indonesians. Oh, that makes a lot more sense." And he's going to proceed to reveal the existence of this island to the rest of the world. One of these countries that have quite the bit of ambition in colonization is the Romans. Yeah, you didn't see that coming, did you? The Romans, after getting all of this stuff, want more. I'm going to be honest. And one of those things is out there in Australia because they honestly they kind of want to have some stuff in Australia. They just want colonies realistically. And so they're going to send their own team of colonizers and expeditioners filled with a lot of prisoners actually. So in case anyone dies, the prisoners are promised freedom if they make it through this mission. So they're going to quickly go through the blue team's thing, and they're actually going to land over here and then over here, and then they're going to cross through. They're going to grab their boat again, and they're going to go straight. They're going to get lost in a storm, uh, and that's the last we ever see of them. No, I'm joking. They're gonna get lost in a storm. They're gonna go around and around and around and around until eventually they crash land over here, grab a new boat, set sail once more, and their map, their very broken map of Australia, leads them over here. Over here, yeah, over there. Um, so that's huge. That's massive. Okay, I'm gonna stop now. But the Romans now have a little chunk also. They're gonna colonize the land around this place, and now they're like really, really close to the blue team, which the blue team does not like. Actually, I feel like we should move them a little bit. They're gonna land there, but they're actually going to set up base over here. No, no, that doesn't make sense. I feel like they're scared of the blue team. They're not that scared that they would give up like massive. I'm gonna use a different word for this. Interesting areas such as that one that have bays in it. So I feel like they would eventually, because in their eyes they're allies with the blue team, right? In the blue team's eyes they could not care less. Uh, so I guess this land is captured. This is not going well. So I guess this land is captured by the Romans. The Romans are gonna take this. What did I do wrong? What did I do? Okay, there we go. Romans are going to take this land, and this is probably going to be the only colony they can afford if we're being real here. I may or may not have just colored the entire ocean the Roman color. That might not go well.